Okay, good afternoon and welcome to Iyun to lean on Simon Kuftet Shulchan Aruch Yomi. As I mentioned in the regular shir, this Simon was very problematic for me when I was younger. I couldn't even accept it upon myself, even though I was very mocked at every halacha that I learned to keep as much as I possibly could. This halacha always made me very nervous because I was always very nervous to make sure I daven with a minion. And be from, you knock it down with a minion. That's like the biggest avera in the world, right? Because everyone in the world daven with a minion. In order to daven Shemon Esrei with a tzibur, that's the main part. Daven with a minion. The Shemon Esrei with the tzibur. You have to be davening while they are partially davening. What if they started ahead of you, right? And the minion, the minion davens a short Shemon Esrei. The chazan is going to start his chazaras hashas very soon, and you want to daven Shemon Esrei with the tzibur. Because if you don't daven Shemon Esrei with the tzibur, you're not going to be able to yotze to the tzibur. You have to go to a different minyan. That's what I was worried about. I really was worried about this. So I couldn't accept this halakha. I just ignored it. And I daven Shemon Esrei with the tzibur, so I can at least not have to go to a different minyan. But I think the pshat in this halacha is very much misunderstood. Let's just quote the Shulchan Aruch, which is a Gemara. You go into the shul and you find they're davening the minyan. I believe that's a quote from the Gemara. That's really all it says. The Ramah isn't something else, right? And Mishabura explains Kaddish at Marav when there's no Chazar Shas and Kedusha of Shachar and Mincha. Now you basically have to finish your Shemona Esrei before the Shliach Tzibur gets there, because even though technically you could stop in the middle and listen, Shomei Hakona, it's not the same Shomei Hakona as if you're answering for the Kedusha. You want to be answering for the Kedusha or the Kaddish. That is the ideal. So you shouldn't start Shemona Esrei. You should wait till wherever you are in Psuki the Zimra or Berchas Kriya Shema. Let them daven Shemona Esrei. Let them finish their Shemona Esrei. Let them say Kedusha. Then daven your Shemona Esrei. Make sure you finish before the Kaddish after Shemona Esrei. I believe it. Look at the first Mishnah Bura. I don't think I ever saw it. I must have glossed over this. Mishnah Bura says very simply, if you don't want to take part in this fiasco over here, because you don't know what's going on, you're not going to be able to be so precise when you're davening Shemona Esrei to make sure to answer all the Kedushas and the Kaddishes and the Kalakados, the Amens and the Modims. Go out to the Azara, go out to the Ezra's Nashim, go to some other place, different room, and just daven by yourself. Very simple, because as I mentioned before, Tzilah B'tzibur is a mila. It's a nice thing to do. It's not a chiyuv. When I was younger, I thought if I did not daven with a minion, I was a shegitz. I was an idolater. I think there's a common misconception that if you don't daven with a minion, it's the worst thing in the world. But the Mishnah Berurah says, if you want to go outside, go daven. Now, I have a deer shoe over here, Lechora. Harei gamu chayiv l'shmo kaddish kedusha bir beigros Moshe. Moshe was bothered by the Mishnah Berurah. How could you go? You're missing out kedusha and kaddish. Muchrachim lo Moshe medubar sheyesh lo sarah gadol chen entir lates. You have a big need. You have a big business meeting. When you're nishar b'beis hakneses gama yatzarach lo sarah gadol yimukhrach lahamtin l'kaddish kedusha la'amenim elu. However, if he was in a shul, even though he had a big business meeting, he's going to have to follow his halacha. Big business meeting, don't get himself involved. You're going to miss out on the chiyuv of kaddish kedusha. Now, I think the Igros Moshe is saying over here is coming from the Gemara, that Gemara says, "Ein davar shel kedusha pachas me'asara." Kedusha, kaddish, these things are davar kedusha. You have to have a minion for them. That does not mean that you have to daven Shemona Esrei with a tzibur. Shemona Esrei is not considered davar shel kedusha. Kedusha and kaddish, those are davar shel tzibur. They need 10 people at least. The halacha called davar shel kedusha lo yeh pachas me'asara doesn't mean you have to be one of those asara. Right? If you want to say that thing, you have to be part of it. See, you have to have 10 people. Not that you have to be part of that. There's no chiyuv on a person to say kaddish kedusha. If you're in a tzibur, if you want to say kaddish kedusha, you have to have 10 people. Not that you have to be one of those 10 people. There's no chiyuv to say kaddish kedusha. These are things that they're tefillah, but tefillah is a chiyuv. That's one of the things from Masakin. 3 times a day daven. Tefillah but tzibur is a nice thing down with a tzibur. Like the Mishnah Berurah very clearly says that if you don't want to take part in this, it's too difficult for you, go and daven b'yechidus, daven by yourself outside. There's no chiyuv to answer kaddish kedusha, and really the source of this whole halacha that you have to be together with the tzibur during kaddish and kedusha is not because you're being yosei your chiyuv of kaddish or kedusha. And that's what we're so worried about. We're worried that if you're in the middle of your Shemona Esrei and the shliach tzibur is not the kaddish or kedusha, so he with the tzibur is engaged at Dvarim Shabbat he's doing Dvarim Shabbat and you're not answering with him, so you're being Polish Minat tzibur, right? Not only do you need 10 people to say Kaddish Kedusha, Dvarim Shabbat when you're saying Dvarim Shabbat you have to be part of that tzibur. Al Polish Minat tzibur, you can't be Polish Minat tzibur when a tzibur is necessary, is a necessity. When a tzibur is a necessity, it's Dvarim Shabbat it's a very important holy things. You have to have 10 people, and you can't be you make yourself not part of that tzibur. You have to be part of that tzibur, 10 plus. You have to be part of it. So if you can't be part of it, go outside and don't be part of it. Go to a different room, don't be part of it. You're not part of that tzibur if you're in a different room. It doesn't look bad. Same thing with modim and bowing down, all this simon, these things. I don't know about modim or something else, about looking. It's the same idea about modim, that everyone's bowing down and you're not. Also, with Dvarim Shabbat Kedusha, it necessitates a tzibur. There's a holy thing, so you have to be part of that tzibur. If you can't be part of the tzibur, then you're Polish Minat tzibur. So don't get started at all. And that's basically what the Mishnah Berurah here is saying, is that it's a din. There's no chiyuv to answer Kedusha or Kaddish. It's just if you're in the same room with people who are saying Kaddish Kedusha and you're not answering, it looks bad. It's Polish Minat tzibur. It's not a good thing. So the easiest answer to this is that I don't think you should delay your davening to daven tefillah b'tzibur. If you see you're going to come to a minyan and they're going to be saying Kaddish Kedusha and you're in the middle of Shemona Esrei, it's better to daven b'yechidus. Daven b'yechidus, it's not such a bad thing. It's really not so bad to daven by yourself. It's okay. Mishnah Berurah says it's okay right here. It's not such a big thing. It's better to daven b'yechidus than to involve yourself in separating yourself from that tzibur when they're saying Kaddish Kedusha. That's very clear from the Mishnah Berurah here, and I think from the Gemara. Hope you enjoyed today's share. See you in the next one.